Hey trappers, Dale Billingsley here, Billingsley Brand Lures. Guys, what I got for you today, it's not anything earth-shattering, it's not anything spectacular, and I've gone over it several times, but I feel like it needs to be gone back over again because I'm still getting questions pertaining to beaver traps that I use as far as footholds and why I use them and this kind of thing. So, there's some new viewers out here, some new trappers that haven't have maybe just discovered my channel or whatever and haven't seen some of my older videos. So we'll go back over it again. So let's get things set up here. Stay with me. We'll be right back. All right. So the, here's some of the questions that I get is they maybe watched a video or two and they've got the gist of it all, but they just don't have it quite completely figured out. Um, does it matter if I'm using offset jaws or regular jaws? This is the number 3 Bridger, 2 coiled, pretty near brand new trap, maybe a year or two old. Offset jaw, regular jaw, it makes absolutely no difference which one you choose to use. Okay, laminated, not laminated, makes absolutely no difference. All right, they'll both hold beaver just plumb fine. They're the plumb adequate. They'll hold them. There's no question. Okay, I've caught hundreds and hundreds of beaver in both of them and never had a lick of trouble with either one of them as far as holding. Okay, so don't think you have to use a regular jaw. Don't think you have to use offset. You can use either one and they work fine. The next question I get is, of course, pan tension. Pan tension is very important, especially when you're beaver trapping. I run 5 pounds minimum. Okay, that's where mine starts, is at 5 pounds of pan tension. The other thing is it's very important that the pan on the trap, whatever trap you're using, goes clear to base. Okay, that's very important to allow a deep catch. The other thing, if you're trying to use it for beaver and hold them alive like I do, you've got to have a tall jaw. All right, some of these traps that are being built today, they set wider at the base plate than they do tall at the jaw, just like the old number 3 and 4 Victor double long springs. If you'll measure that trap from the base plate to the top of the jaws on a number 3 and number 4 Victor double long spring, it is exactly the same height as a 1 3/4 Victor round jaw coil spring. Okay, now that ought to tell you something right there. Your wheels should start turning here and light bulbs should start snapping off. What that does, if those low profile jaws will put that trap down here on this joint. This joint is no man's land. You want to stay off of that with any trap. You've got to be above it, okay? This trap sits taller at the jaw this way than it does wider at the base plate. That's why I like the number 3 Bridgers, the number 3 Northwoods, the number 3 or the number 4 Duke, the number 3 and the number 4 Herders, and the old number 3 and 4 Montgomerys in the high levers. Now they made 2 different styles of that trap. For some of you newer, younger trappers haven't been around very long, they made 2 styles of that Montgomery. They made a low lever, it means the lever set plumb down here, and then they made a high lever that set up a little higher. You've got to have that high lever because you've got to have that holding power up here at the corner of the jaws. All right.
Gather family and friends to attend the 66th Annual National Trappers Convention and Outdoor Expo at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds in the heart of Virginia's Shenandoah Valley. Mingle with top hunters and trappers, shop old traps and unique relics, plus attend all the in-depth clinics and seminars. Meet Jaimo and Edna Korth from the famed Discovery Channel series, The Last Alaskans. And yes, Mossy Oak's Cuz Strickland will also be here. That's July 17th through the 19th, Harrisonburg, Virginia.
The other thing about using these more compact traps like this on front feet, especially on front feet if you're holding them alive, those big double long springs, the TS85s, the No BS Beaver Extremes, the number 5s, the MB750s, those kind of traps are entirely too big, they're entirely too bulky to use on front feet and not drown them, okay? What happens, that beaver gets up on the bank and he get hung up in the brush or hung up in the grass or something, and when he starts rolling, this trap has to roll with him. Those big traps don't. What they do, they get hung up in the mud and the dirt and they stop and the beaver doesn't. And once you break those little nimble front leg bones, It's not long and he's twisted out and he's gone. And that's going to be the first thing somebody's going to do it. They're going to say, well, you know, they'll catch a beaver in a TS-85 or something of that sort by the front foot. They don't drown it. Next thing you know, it's plastered all over social media. You know, Dale Billings is full of crap. No, I'm not. If you just listen to what I tell you, okay? I've already done the research for you. I've taken the work clear out of this for you. It can't get any simpler than this. Now, the other thing I want to caution you, I do not, absolutely do not like the Bridger number 3 dogless trap for anything, okay? In my opinion, they're a boat anchor, a trout line weight, a decoy anchor, something of that sort. And I absolutely do not know of anybody, and believe me, I talk to a lot of trappers that are in the know, okay, just to say. I don't know of anybody that's using the number 3 Bridger dogless trap and taking hundreds of animals a year. Now, you might be taking tens with it. You know, you're taking tens of coyotes or tens of beaver or something of that sort, but you're not out here taking hundreds with that trap. All right, that trap is, the trouble of it is that trap, the pan will go to, you can set it in your hands and you can snap it off in your hand and fire it and it'll fire right off. But when you put it out there in the actual trap line situation, that pan will go down, but that thing will not go off 90% of the time. All right, and I've adjusted it any way and every way possible to get it to do it, and it will not unless you bend the pan up. And by the time you bend the pan up far enough that it will fire, it's shooting the moon. Okay, again, I want that chain, I want that leg, and I want that foot in there as deep as I can get it. I don't want to cross, you know, toes if I can help it. I want it down in there deep. So I like a dogless trap just fine. I just don't like the Bridger dogless trap. All right, so I want to get that out there and get that straight right off the get-go here. So anyway, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end that video here. NTA convention next weekend, Harrisonburg, Virginia. I will be there. I have a beaver demo. If I remember right, I can't call right off the top of my head, but I think it's at 4 o'clock on Thursday. If you're there, please stop by the booth, holler at us. You know, Mike and I both will be there. We'd love to meet you. Love to see you at my demo, all that good stuff. So, guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in and watching. If you would please just hit that thumbs up for me. That's all I'm asking. Once again, this is Dale Billings with another one. Signing out.